Thanks for the preamble, but I'm just a guy. Um, thanks for all. Thanks again all for being here. I mentioned this earlier. We're close enough neighbors. Y'all know it's kind of football season down south, right? And in the spirit of that, uh, I suspect you're all expecting this. I'm calling an audible. And the reason is, quite candidly, I went through that deck and you'd all get up and leave. And that doesn't happen very often when I speak. But when it does, it's because I've got horrible content. So I decided to go to some content that I have far greater confidence in. I'm not going to talk as much about cloud, although, come on, what in computing doesn't involve cloud, right? I mean, I started the podcast more than 3 years ago, title, Talking Cloud. And it's because I believe everything's going to be cloud. Anybody want to be a guest? I'd love to have you. Let me know. It's a lot of fun. I've had you'd be in good company. So I have to ask, as a kid, I made this up. Anybody think of Old MacDonald? Little? Right? Okay, what about Nellie? AI, oh. I was reminded of that when I went to Detroit. It's like, no, Nellie. It's like, so I'm going to talk about AI, but what I really am not going to do is I'm not going to do the proverbial AI, look how great we are pitch. This is why I changed. What I wanted to do, and I talked to a couple of guys already this morning, I like to poke the bear a little bit. And what I mean is, there's some things we already know. It's Captain Obvious. Do I have to point this out to anyone? Absolutely not. Interesting statistic, how long it took mobile phones to get to the same footprint. Okay. But here's what I like to, ask. This is where I shift it a little. How many in this room are familiar with this diagram? Have heard of the technology transformer and are familiar with it? Now, I hope there's somebody out there that really is just holding their hand back because, generally, and don't throw any fruit at me, but I'd call you all lemmings. Because this is the fundamental technology that changed everything in 2017. Changed everything. And you have to understand it to really understand what you're using. And if you already get it, make damn sure your people get it. Your managers get it. Your staff gets it, because the game has changed unlike any other. I'm telling you, I was fortunate to be with the very first company Checkpoint Software purchased in 1998 when they had 400 people and their revenue was about $140 million a year. I opened an Apple dealership with a guy in 1983, couldn't spell computer. I've had the wonderful benefit of seeing this industry, and I'm telling you, this explosion is unlike anything I've ever seen. And I really believe it's about being informed. I really believe it's about being educated and really understand it. That's where the power comes in. So let's talk about it a little bit. A few years ago, we asked AI to show us hands. I want to see hands. And this is what we got. Why? Because it's always a guess. It's always a guess. Informed guess, yes. Trained guess, yes. But a guess. And that guess is based on parameter size, accuracy of training of the data. Fundamentally, that's it. So a few years ago, it was pretty damn lousy at showing hands. This was Will Smith eating spaghetti a couple years ago. Some of you may be familiar with it. Now, is it really Will Smith eating spaghetti? No. It's Will Smith eating spaghetti, my guess. based on what I know, based on the data I have, based on what I've been trained on. It's gross. I'll let it keep playing. I can't stress this enough. We have to understand how we got where we are. And there is a tie into cybersecurity, ladies and gentlemen. The difference is the compression, the timeline. Because you're seeing this unbelievable impact of data and training and accuracy of data right before our eyes over the last few years. But the same things occurred in the world of cyber, and I'll talk about that. But with more training, we started getting magnificent hands, unbelievable hands. Not because it knows, because it's better at guessing what you want for hands. And it's pretty extraordinary. So, baloney, blah, blah. I want to move through this. I guess to a certain degree, it's not blah, blah. It is important from the standpoint of, I mentioned it is about data. And if you're unfamiliar with our threat intelligence, our threat source that I just saw the new Miracom report, 99.9% efficacy. It's hard to believe. This is why we've been doing this for 30 years. So remember 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, there was this new thing called search. And you better learn how to talk to that Yahoo, right? Or Google or whatever, right? I mean, it was something you really had to get good at. And I liken it to being a sniper. I want to duck with a green head on a lake at sunset. And if I type that exact same search term, I get the exact same results. Because it's finding that, it's not guessing that. We're in a new world now. And I liken it not to being a sniper. Come on up in the Bob Uecker row there, buddy. Yeah, that's right. Please. It's like badminton. Anybody ever played badminton? Right? You just hit that as hard as you can. And then comes back, right? That's what happens when you're interacting with this technology, and it's extraordinary. Some of the programs you use has very specific words and nomenclature they want you to use for their prompts. But I'm telling you, get familiar with prompts, how prompts work, how the interaction works. It's absolutely critical for the new era that we've entered. Because this gives me this. Now, the more I tell it what I want in a prompt, the more specificity I give, there's less guessing, right? The less specificity I give, the more guessing. Let me give you an example. This isn't a real long prompt, but look at the first 3 words. It puts a box in everyone, right? A movie trailer. Oh, okay. I'm prepared for a movie trailer. So that, in just the way it's written, is going to result in something that looks somewhat like a movie trailer. It's a weird movie, I'll admit, with a knit cap on an astronaut, but hey. So the real point I'm trying to make is your people, everyone has to get to be an expert at prompts, understanding prompts, just really understanding the technology. Now, you all know who this is, right? This was a video he created for a GQ, and it was the Ken and Barbie rule, and it was stupid, but that was real. But How to Fly took that video And I'm trying to emphasize the technology, and I'll show you it again in a minute. But this is what we're up against. And we really have to be aware and prepared for it, because this stuff's going to kick our ass if we don't fight fire with fire. Because our ability to discern it's really getting blurred. Not just in deep fakes like this, but in other technologies. Oh, I think most all of us know this. This, to me, and it's why I put it right up in front, is kind of what gets me excited about where this industry can potentially go. Google AI has discovered 2.2 million materials unknown to science. DeepMind adds nearly 400,000 new compounds. Now listen, I totally agree. Not everything is going to be penicillin, right? Not everything is going to be this breakthrough, but I have to believe in that scale, something's going to be pretty cool. Something is going to emerge from it. And that's really exciting. Something's going to be accelerated, something's going to be cured. And we're already hearing, I think, about those types of advancements occurring in medicine, for example. I always like to throw it in here. You're not going to lose your job to AI, full stop. So your job, your role is not going to be replaced with a robot or a bot or with full AI without a human, okay? That's not in our lifetime, I don't believe. But if you're not using AI in your job, I'll guarantee you, you're going to lose your job to the man or woman that's using AI doing the same thing you do. Guaranteed. So, because the potential is just, it's too great. And I'm going to show you rather than emphasize this. Anybody that wants these slides, come see Lynette or Joel or anybody over at the booth, and we'll make sure you get them, because you're going to want to get them. Now, when I say Python, who thinks of snake? Me. But I bet a bunch of you thought of script, right? Now, it's important that you know the difference between a Gilligan and a professor used to be the Grand Canyon. Yep. Today, it's a veil. Because I now can write a script in Python to find failed authentications in a syslog file. I had no idea even where to start. So the difference, ladies and gentlemen, is I don't know if it works or not. But that's it. So why is prompting so important? Because the better I get at telling it what I want, the more I know I'm close. And that's critical to appreciate, not so much for all of us in this room, but for who we're up against. Now, this is amazing. Yes, that's me. And you don't see it quite as well because of the transmission. But what's cool is this tool. I'll show you. Hey, Jen, any of those, I can speak that language, full lip sync. And I'll show it to you in a minute. It's extraordinary. I mean, so here, let's go to India.
नमस्कार सर्वांना. माझं नाव अस्पताल आहे आणि AI करायच्या शक्तीची ओळख करून देण्यासाठी.
Same thing. I can go to Russia. I can go to France, just like that. It's yeah. Well, and that's so. What I'll tell you is, here's where we go back. It's no different whether it's Python script or it's a language I don't speak. I think it sounds perfect. Someone who speaks the language goes, oh my God, there's like, is that my grandma talking? There's, right? You're using old language. So this again that's why you have to inspect, what you expect. A critical inspect what you expect. Okay, it's a double-edged sword. This is always like Captain Obvious stuff. I feel like, don't you get it all? The difference, here's the difference. The bad guys don't care if there's 6 fingers, if it works. Okay? The guy, they don't care if it's not perfect, if it's effective. And let me tell you what, when I can now, look, the other thing I like to remind everybody, we all have an assistant that knows everything the internet knows, but is dumb as a rock without the right prompt. Again, I stress the critical importance of prompting, but think about that. Having an assistant, I mean, you can learn anything, you can literally do anything. It's extraordinary and it's powerful, but you have to also understand that underlying technology or you're a lemming. I believe that very strongly. The bad guys, we know, no more misspelled phishing emails. We know where before they could do 10 or 20 iterations, now they got the assistant that works 24/7. There's thousands of iterations. Which one's the most effective? Now let's chew that one up and do multiple iterations of it. They're going to kick our ass unless we use the same tools to get back at it. Now, I mentioned this earlier. This is a great lecture. I encourage you. Karim Lakhani, a Harvard professor, he talks about the impact that we're going to have. And this is where I love to switch. So now, gone with the slides. I still got 20 minutes at least, right? Great website. Again, great lecture. Now, if you haven't seen this, this is from MIT. It's a repository, you download it. It's a risk repository. So you can interrogate this repository for your own application, whether it's academics, industry. It's really terrific. You download it locally and you can see 1,000 risks categorized. It's really a great resource. I encourage you to take a look at it. If you've not seen this video, I absolutely encourage you to spend an hour, 7.5 minutes, and watch The AI Dilemma. Okay? It's from the Center for Humane Technology. I'm not a doomsdayer, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not, but I do believe you need to be informed. And in the same way that in the era of Oppenheimer, when there was 10% or more of the scientists would thought, you light that baby, the world's going to go up. It's not unlike where we are with AI in a lot of ways. And if you look at this statistic differently, and, let me make it a little bit bigger. This is what I always remind people. So, I'm flying later. And if that placard in the seat pocket in front of me said, half the engineers that built the plane think there's a 10% chance or greater I'm not getting home. I'm off the plane, man. So just be informed, that's all. Okay, everybody knows who this guy is, right? Jeffrey Hinton. Everybody should say yes. He's the godfather, grandfather, creator of the neural network. Look him up, watch his lectures, listen to him. Understand this technology that he largely was the tip of the arrow for, and understand also why he quit Google. Go see him. He left Google for a reason. I know, but I won't tell you. This guy, Mo Gaudat, fabulous lecture, man. Off the hook. You got to watch this guy. This is the stuff we have to do for ourselves and for our people. If we really, truly want to have a competitive advantage, we have to. I believe that very strongly. Okay, this is just a fabulous website, informationisbeautiful.net. This literally is showing you the power of LLMs based on a massive multitask language understanding, which is a common measurement for capabilities of LLMs. Again, I have this deck with all the links, so please come by and we'll make sure we get it to you or get your information. Fabulous website. All of them are alive. And I can click on it and it takes me to more information, and we'll open up another tab. I'm not going to take the time now. Really great. And it also talks about other data with regards to accomplishments with LLMs, how fast they grew. This one down here is a great one. It tells you how big they are, who owns them, when the born on date was. I mean, just really, listen, it's about good data, right? It's about good information that you can take to your people and keep them sharper than the next. So how do LLMs work? Anybody remember this? I don't want to subscribe. I've already subscribed. So let me out of this. Remember this? It was in the deck earlier. I asked you and y'all raised your hands emphatically. Read this article. And that, I mean, just this article alone will enlighten you and your teams, your people, on understanding LLMs and understanding things like word vectors. And you have to understand, think about this for a second. You've got a huge bucket of words. And the word I reach in and pick out is book. Some of you thought hardback. Some of you thought paperback. Some of you thought, oh, I got to call my travel agent. Some of you thought, oh, he's late. So these words have to be in this space with an ability to pick the right one based on who and what those words are associated with. And it'll explain all of that in this book, in this article, Word Vectors. And it reminded me of, remember geography? Right? And we could literally find an inch of dirt with the longitude, latitude. I mean, I thought that was fascinating. Same kind of thing in this three-dimensional space. Just get informed. Now, I mentioned multiple times, we all have an assistant that is as smart as the internet, but as dumb as a rock without the right prompt. And I'll bet you probably thought, I wonder if there's an AI for that. Well, you just have to go to there'sanaIforthat.com. When I first started showing this, ladies and gentlemen, this number was 7,800. Today, it's 29,300 and growing. Anything you can imagine, search for it. Those snowy days in Toronto, here you go, baby. You got a chance to go down some rat holes. But you can find it's amazing. And it goes on and on. You'll see over on the left, the dates. 2015 is what I can see. So it's an extraordinary conglomerate of some good, some bad. Now, I mentioned this earlier. I'll let this play. Don't worry about the sound.
Yeah.
Now, it actually looks pretty good when you see it on screen instead of through the broadcast. He looks like, he's delayed. What's cool about this is it was all created with that one video did for GQ. He needs to get a blackboard. So watch his arm grow 6 feet or to be 6 feet. Boom. And now he's got a 6-foot arm. But, what's actually amazing is how good this is, how informative it is, how accurate it is. So if you don't want to do the academic route and you want, you're a person that finds Ryan much better to look at and listen to, there you go. This is called Hey Jen. I created one video of me saying, hi, I want to show you the power of AI. And then I created all of these. And you can see I've got French, Mandarin, Marathi, Hebrew, Spanish, Swahili, and they're pretty amazing. Let's go to French.
Salut tout le monde, je m'appelle Franck As et je suis ravi de vous présenter la traduction par IA.
Now, you can't really see it, but the lip sync is really pretty damn good. And you can do it up to 5 minutes, unlimited number of videos. It's just limited to 5 minutes for the $20-some a month subscription. Go to the next one up, 30 minutes. Go to the next one up, unlimited. Well, that is unbelievably powerful. Now, of course, there's language issues and the nuances, but to be able to take something at scale around the world natively, it's pretty amazing, and it's only going to get better. Okay. Most all of you, I suspect, are familiar with RAG, right? Retrieval Augmented Generation. A key technology you need to know, especially if you're using LLMs. And this is a great video explainer from IBM that explains how her daughter asked, hey, what planet has the most moons? She went to ChatGPT. It was wrong. NASA had a more accurate data because the data was old and they've discovered moons. It's like 20 moons on some planet. I don't remember. And so that's where RAG really has power, because I can say, I got this data set from NASA, so I'm going to use it as the first source before I go out to ask the public source. It's really cool. And if you prefer to hear Chance the Rapper, Chance the Ragger. So he goes through the whole presentation and explains RAG at same company. It's really, it's quite remarkable. Anybody familiar with Gamma? Have you, I mean, I think Gamma's just up. Okay, one sec. My boss doesn't know I'm on the East Coast. He thinks I'm on the West Coast. So just, hi, Jason. What's up? A little bit, yeah, but I got a quick second. Okay, what? Training presentation? Sure. Importance of cybersecurity? Yeah. Boy, I can't get it to you probably till next Friday. Oh man, I'm traveling and I got to create the whole thing. I got to create the slides, the headlines, everything. I got to do the graphics. I mean, end of day Thursday, soonest. Okay, thanks. One sec. Hey, Bill, make that tea time. I'm free through Wednesday. Listen, you laugh at me. You laugh at me. Thank you. You laugh at me, but I'm telling you, inspect what you expect. Your people have these tools. Don't let them say, I need a week. Yeah, especially if it's not including any critical or sensitive data, but that's a whole nother thing. All right, Chance the Ragger we talked about. Okay, as some of you can tell, there's a little bit of, I got you, brother, a bit of a ham. You know, I got some swine DNA in me. Not a big blog writer, but if you want help writing blogs, this is the coolest site, SEO Writing. I can just type in, and I won't bother with showing you how it can gen a title for me. I can pick the language, and it's quite extensive. I can pick the article type. I can choose how long I want it to be. I can choose what's my voice, authoritative, friendly, humorous. I want a first person, second person, third person. I can include graphics. I can ask it to do deep web checks with attribution, so I'm off the hook for plagiarism. I can include videos and graphics. I mean, it's unbelievable. All, of course, for a fee. And just to give you an idea, I like to do motivational stuff. I believe the one person you'll talk to more than anyone else in your life is yourself. And you believe you. So you really should get up every morning and tell yourself what a badass you are. There are severe consequences to negative self-talk, and I wanted to see what it would write. But I selected graphics, cubism, and the art just alone is extraordinary. It's really a fascinating tool, SEO writing. Who's ever heard of model autography disorder? Mad cow disease. How did we get it? We think because we were eating cows that were eating cows, right? This is what happens when AI is trained on AI data. Because think about it, we're going to run out of the data we're all creating unless we keep creating without these tools. So it really poses a very interesting scenario of, the snake eating itself, right? So just, again, I like to be informed. Now, who knows what Lambda is? You guys know Lambda functions, AWS. Here's my cloud pitch for you. I know Lambda is the thing that goes, nah, and I'm just saying it wrong, okay? That's about how much I know. But this says, can you please write a Lambda function to stand up a complete data center with full redundancy, micro-segmentation, and following a zero-trust-based architectural design and maximum security controls? So I just said, go do that. It's probably saying I've already done this. There we go. And I'm now writing a Lambda function to stand up a complete data center. Microsegmentation, zero trust, maximum security. Boom. Now, think of your own developers. Do I have to say more? If they're not using this technology, you gotta scold them. Okay? Now, I'm not encouraging you to go out and have them write code that includes anything proprietary, exposes your internal address space, anything like that. But this isn't because I haven't given it any instructions like that. I have to still put those hooks in. But the speed in which I was able to complete this doesn't hold a candle to no matter how fast you type. And besides, what's the value worth? Because I can do something else while it's off genning. I don't have to sit and watch the screen. All right, I'm running out of time. This is a site that actually aggregates multiple sites. It's pretty amazing. If you want to learn about prompting, Prompt Journey is a website. I also encourage you to just go to your favorite chatbot LLM. For me, I love Claude. If you've not used Claude, I highly encourage you. Everybody's kind of stuck on ChatGPT, but there are lots and lots more. So I'm going to move quickly because I do want to at least show you what we've done is released some tools to empower you to control this beast and control it insofar as really gain visibility into what's going on, what Gen AI is getting used, what risks, how is it getting used? Are people prompting with potential DLP? Because this is a huge problem they don't understand. A context is important. I acquired tennis shoes for $300 today, and I just write 300 today, as opposed to we're acquiring tennis shoe maker for 300 today. Subtle but critical. We can catch that stuff. And it's all about having control. God, I'm sorry I keep hitting this, and it's because I was set up for that fun little skit. Oh, that was real. I'm sorry, that was real. New data actually came out. It's 99.9. I mean, our efficacy is better than anybody's. I mean, this isn't me telling you, it's the industry. I just can't stress enough. If you believe all the blather and hype about how good some other companies are, check into how many times they've had a CVE released. We've had one in the last 5 years. One. And we fixed it in 2 days. Some of the others have dozens. And when I say some of the others, I mean some of the others on this slide. Okay, so this is a familiar interface for some of you that know us. We've implemented this in what we call R82. And so now Emily's having trouble getting to the SAP server. Can you help me get access? So sure, goes off, takes a look, determines, oh yeah, here's the problem. She needs to be added to this group. Would you like to add her to this group? Yes, please. Ladies and gentlemen, always say please and thank you, because we just don't know. Okay? We just don't know. I'm just saying. So yes, please install a policy. That's because you can never push a policy. You have to actually say, yes, now you've got that new policy, please push it out. Thank you very much. You always want to, if you're not checked us out, you may be totally unaware of the more than 100 products in our portfolio. It's broader than any other single pure play cybersecurity vendor on the planet. From endpoint to remote, I mean, it is broader. I don't have a partnership with CrowdStrike because I don't need them. Okay? Now, our managed services will manage them if you've got them, and we'll help you there, because that's also part of the portfolio. And I'm telling you, we're a really great secret. So this is the last little video that I don't even know if it'll play. And this is about the only commercial I'm going to give you. I really appreciate all your time, and want to thank you all very much for being here. So if you enjoyed the slides, come see Lynette, Joel. I'll be around for a while before I go get on that plane, and hope that placard's not in that seat pocket in front of me. Thank you all.